Hello and welcome to the June 25th Stats Canada seeded acreage report, released 6:30 Mountain Time on the 25th. So what we're going to be going through is the numbers and what they mean and where we go from this report. As most of you know, this report pretty much sets the tone for the rest of the summer. The only thing that could really change things going forward will be weather scares, heat during flowering of canola, an early frost, of course, in August. That'll definitely change the price indicators. But this report pretty much sets the tone. Where we have to start from is March report and where the numbers went from there. We saw wheat go down minus 0.8 million acres. Pretty much those acres went into canola as it was plus 0.6. We saw a little bit of gain in other crops, soybeans being the big one. The southern Manitoba was the huge gain here, as soybeans can be planted later, and with the wet spring that we had going into the southwestern side of Manitoba, it was perfect planting conditions for soybeans. So we also saw about a little bit of summer fallow acres. Now, usually summer fallow acres aren't something we'd talk about, but I feel this number, this 3.4, probably isn't correct, as this report was taken. Like I said, it was released June 25th, but it was taken from farmers up until poll up until June the 1st. So probably still some guys from knowing what my clients in Saskatchewan were going through, still some guys thinking that they were going to get crops in at this time, but pretty much it rained from June 1st to the 6th, and there was no chance of getting much more crops in the ground. So again, that's the numbers in a nutshell. And what now, to dive a little bit further into the numbers. This wheat number, we saw just over 19 million acres of hard red spring wheat and 4.8 million acres of durum. And we saw an increase roughly of about 1.1 up to 1.1 million acres of CPS red. Now, it's classified in the spring wheat portion as well, but again, there is more of a feed wheat being grown in Western Canada, and most of that is going to be grown likely in Alberta, especially central Alberta. As you remember, my group was going to seed a lot more of this feed variety. Now, in the canola number, there's a few things that were key with the canola number. Or sorry, we'll go to barley first. Barley being 7.1, and I feel being used for silage and feed. Once we take this number out of here, we're probably going to be closer to 6.95. And that, again, is a huge number, because if you look past, only with major moisture in 2011 did we see less barley acres. And we've seen a decline in barley ever since, 7.4. If you take this year out of here, we're 8.6, 8.3. This year, I believe it was planned on 7.8, but because of all the excess moisture, only 6.5 got in. 7.4 now, 7.1. Again, probably by 2020, this will be a specialty crop under 5 million acres. So the maltsters are going to have to start paying, and start paying early with their Act of God clauses in order to guarantee that farmers continue to grow malt barley. As I saw in my group, lots were switching over to feed, and with strong feed prices relatively to a 10-year average of plus $4 is what we're looking at for fall. I still believe there's going to be a lot of farmers next year planning on their barley acres being feed instead of malt, just for the hassle factor. So getting into the big number of canola, we've seen canola come up from 2009 at 16.2, 16.7, a big jump in the wet year of 18.9. Of course, last year 21.5, as everybody knew acres rotation were being stretched. In March, StatsCan figured it was going to drop to 19.1. If you remember, I said that number was going to be bogus. I was thinking coming into this report probably 19.5 to 20. I still thought it was going to be around 20, and we came in at 19.7. So won me some money on some bets anyways, as I knew it wasn't going to be lower than this number here. But nonetheless, 19.7 is substantially lower than 21.5. And then if you look out your window and see the crop start that we're at, we're gearing up for a heavy yield reduction. So last year with 21.5, we produced basically 13.4 million metric ton. This year at 19.7, I know it's still early to predict what or project what we're going to produce, but I think we're going to see a number closer to the low 12s, 12.2, 12.3. And that's just what we're looking at right now. It could actually be in the 11s, and then that could be a scary number this fall, especially if China is still buying strong. So again, that's just what it looks like here for the numbers in canola, and I really don't feel those are going to be going up much more. Soybean acres, like I stated, were a huge increase, and we see that southern Manitoba, parts of Ontario go into the higher paying crops. Corn actually a decrease in the price, again wet spring, but year to year it's still an increase in acres, and I believe that's what we're going to see going up continually here through the next 5 to 7 years. Is corn and soybeans, as they get into better varieties, are going to be on the increase, and likely going to be compromised from our wheat acres. So that's the report in a nutshell. Again, I'll have a little bit more if you want to read some more down on the bottom. You can read the actual StatsCan report and their analysis.